You know that feeling, that quiet hum of aspiration for a life that really clicks,
Yeah.
where you're actually um, getting what you want. Like,
Yeah,
it's a pretty universal thing, I think, this drive to build a life we genuinely love.
absolutely. And for this deep dive, we've pulled together, well, a pretty fascinating mix of perspectives to help unpack that very idea.
Exactly. We've got this really comprehensive guide laying out 37 distinct principles,
Hmm.
then a more personal reflection, kind of focused on creating an authentic life.
Right.
And finally, a structured ultimate guide that walks through a 5-step process.
So we're looking at this from a lot of different angles, from the nitty-gritty tactics to the deeper why.
And our goal here really is to sift through all of that, to connect those different viewpoints and sort of extract the most actionable insights for you.
Yeah.
We want to make it clear how you can start moving towards a more fulfilling life without feeling, well, buried under a mountain of information. Okay, so let's dive right in then. Something that jumps out from, well, all these sources really, is the absolutely crucial first step,
Mm-hmm.
figuring out what you truly want.
Mm.
Not just the surface level stuff, but like really drilling down.
That's right. One of our sources even titles a section, Know What You Want. I mean, really know what you want?
Yeah, pretty direct.
And it's not just about a vague wish list, right? It's about constructing a detailed picture of what a fulfilling life looks like across various domains.
I mean, it gives you these really helpful categories to think through.
Mm-hmm.
Your work and business, your relationships,
Yeah.
what brings you happiness, the kinds of experiences you're after, even like the physical things you might desire,
Yeah.
your health and fitness, your sense of community.
Right.
But it's not enough to just list those things, is it? You've got to dig into why you want them.
Precisely. That why is the key. It unlocks this idea of living authentically, which is a core message in another of our sources. It emphasizes aligning your life with your fundamental values. And one tool it suggests for uncovering those values is regular meditation.
Meditation. Interesting.
Yeah, creating that space for honest self-reflection.
Which makes a lot of sense. I mean, if you're constantly bombarded by external noise, how can you possibly hear what truly resonates internally?
Exactly. And the third source we looked at reinforces this, describing your values as this essential guiding star.
A guiding star. You
Yeah.
like that?
For making choices that feel genuinely right for you.
What's fascinating is how these, seemingly different guides all converge on this initial introspective work.
Hmm.
You can't effectively build a life you love if you're just operating on autopilot or like chasing someone else's definition of success.
You really need that internal compass calibrated first.
And that brings up a really important point from the first guide, something that can be, well, a tough pill to swallow
Well,
sometimes.
which one?
You can have anything you want, but not everything you want. At least, not simultaneously.
Ah, yes, the prioritization piece.
Exactly. It forces you to confront the need for prioritization.
Mm-hmm.
How do you even begin to figure out what gets top billing on that list?
Well, that's where understanding your values becomes absolutely critical again. Your values act as that filtering mechanism.
Right.
They help you evaluate different desires and make those difficult choices about where to invest your limited time and energy. It's about accepting that choosing one path often means consciously deciding against another one.
Right. Okay, so you've done that deep dive. You've got a clearer sense of your desires, those core values. What's the natural next step then? It feels like we move into taking concrete action, setting goals.
Exactly. Our third source really emphasizes this transition, establishing clear objectives. It builds directly on that groundwork of understanding what truly motivates you,
Right.
and it introduces the SMART framework specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time-bound
SMART goals.
as
Yeah.
a way to make those aspirations less abstract and more, well, actionable.
Right, transforming those fuzzy wishes into something you can actually track and work towards.
Mm.
And the first guide had a really insightful point about being willing to stair-step into your biggest goals.
Mm-hmm.
I thought that was a really accessible way to think about it. Do you find people get tripped up trying to make these massive leaps all at once?
Oh, absolutely. That's where discouragement can easily creep in. Instead of fixating on that ultimate Aston Martin, right?
Yeah.
Maybe the first step is a reliable Pathfinder, then perhaps a more comfortable Lexus. It's about breaking down those monumental visions into a series of smaller, more manageable steps.
That makes sense.
Steps that build momentum and provide a sense of accomplishment along the way.
It makes the whole journey feel less overwhelming, doesn't it?
Yeah.
And the idea of creating dozens of small milestones along the way seems key for keeping motivation high.
Yeah, and actually being able to see tangible progress.
Definitely.
Those small wins are incredibly powerful. They provide that positive feedback loop that reinforces your efforts and keeps you engaged, even when the big ultimate goal still feels, distant. It's about creating a sense of forward movement.
And then, of course, there's the develop a strategy piece.
Hmm.
Having a clear plan
Hmm.
with actual steps and realistic deadlines. But it's also acknowledged that this isn't some rigid, unchangeable document.
Oh, definitely not. You need to be prepared to adapt and adjust as you learn more.
Okay.
Think of your strategy as a kind of a working hypothesis. You've laid out your best guess for how to get from point A to point B,
Right.
but as you start moving, you'll inevitably encounter new information, unforeseen obstacles. Being willing to adjust your course based on what you learn is crucial for long-term success.
And then there's that really crucial element. Take inspired action.
Yes.
I like that it highlights the importance of consistent effort, even on days when motivation is, well, nowhere to be found.
That's so important.
And the idea that resistance, that feeling of pushback, can actually be an indicator of how truly significant a goal is. That's a powerful reframe.
It really is. That resistance isn't necessarily a sign you're on the wrong track.
Hmm.
It can often mean that you're pushing against your comfort zone, that you're venturing into territory that truly matters to you, cultivating the discipline to act even when you don't feel inspired. That's often what separates those who achieve their goals from those who, well, don't.
Now, shifting our focus a bit, it seems like a huge part of getting what you want and building that fulfilling life comes down to your inner game.
Oh, definitely. Your mindset, your personal growth.
Yeah.
Several key principles in our first source address this directly. Take the idea of not letting society be your ultimate judge, for instance.
Right. Don't let society judge you.
That's so critical for staying aligned with your own authentic desires rather than getting caught up in external expectations or those societal shoulds that our second source cautions against.
Yeah, those shoulds can really pull you off course.
Yeah.
It's about tuning out that constant external chatter and really focusing on what genuinely resonates with your own internal compass.
Exactly.
And then there's the perhaps counterintuitive notion of learning how to find happiness with less.
That speaks to cultivating a sense of contentment that isn't dependent on just accumulating material possessions.
Right.
It's about recognizing that true lasting happiness often originates from within, from your experiences, your relationships, rather than just from what you own.
And embracing uncertainty. That can be a real sticking point for so many people.
It can, yeah.
But the guide presents it as an actual opportunity, which is a really empowering perspective shift. What makes that uncertainty so ripe with possibility?
Well, when the future isn't rigidly defined, it creates space for you to actively shape it according to your own vision.
Okay.
It encourages adaptability and allows you to seize unexpected opportunities that might not have been apparent in a more predictable scenario.
And this one seems almost too simple, but it's so fundamental. Intentionally doing things that bring you joy every single day.
Yes. It underscores the idea that the journey itself should be fulfilling, not just the distant destination.
That daily infusion of joy acts as fuel, right, for your motivation.
Exactly. It makes the entire process more sustainable in the long run. It helps prevent burnout and keeps you connected to the things that truly enrich your life.
There's also the point about not convincing yourself that making a big change is inherently riskier than it actually is. That idea of really dissecting the worst case scenario and often realizing it's not as catastrophic as you might have initially imagined.
That fear of the unknown can be incredibly paralyzing, but by taking the time to realistically assess the potential downsides, you can often discover that the perceived risks are actually outweighed by the potential rewards.
And the cost of staying stuck, too.
And the cost of staying stuck, exactly.
And then we delve into some really practical aspects of personal development, like cultivating discipline, using it to compensate for other inefficiencies.
Right. And establishing a consistent morning routine to support that. What makes those kinds of foundational habits so impactful?
Well, consistent daily habits create a powerful underlying structure. Discipline isn't about being rigid or restrictive, really.
Right.
It's more about developing the self-mastery to consistently take actions that align with your goals, even when you don't feel particularly motivated.
Right. Show up anyway.
Show up anyway.
Yeah.
And a well-crafted morning routine sets a positive and productive tone for the entire day, making it easier to maintain that discipline.
Plus, the guide specifically mentions the power of consistent writing
Yes.
and even delving into principles of copywriting for clear and persuasive communication. Those seem like invaluable skills regardless of the specific path you're on.
Absolutely. The ability to articulate your ideas effectively, whether in writing or verbally, and to connect with others on an emotional level, that's fundamental for building strong relationships, seizing new opportunities, and ultimately, yeah, getting what you want.
Now, it's clear that getting what you want often isn't a solo endeavor, is it?
Not at all.
It frequently involves connecting with other people and strategically positioning yourself to encounter new possibilities.
That's right. Our first guide emphasizes the significant benefits of finding an accountability partner
Ah, the accountability partner.
Yeah.
for mutual support and actively surrounding yourself with individuals who share similar aspirations. That kind of supportive environment can be incredibly powerful.
It's like having your own built-in cheering squad.
Kind of. And a reliable source of motivation when your own starts to wane.
And the principle of helping other people get what they want is a fundamental strategy for your own success. That's a really interesting twist.
It is, isn't it? It's about fostering genuine, mutually beneficial relationships. Often by focusing on how you can contribute value to others and help them achieve their goals. You inadvertently create opportunities for your own success through reciprocity and unexpected connections.
And just the simple act of expanding your network, getting to know as many different people as possible, whether it's through, say, industry conferences or local meetups, those connections can really unlock doors you didn't even know existed.
Networking isn't just a transactional thing, though. It's about building genuine human connections and broadening your perspective. You never know where that next valuable piece of advice or collaboration or unexpected opportunity might come from.
And then there's the proactive step of actively putting yourself in a position to encounter new opportunities.
Yeah, making yourself visible.
Making yourself visible and staying open to possibilities. That anecdote about the job offer stemming from just a public online post really drives that point home.
It really does. It underscores the importance of actively showing up and making your intentions known. You can't expect exciting new opportunities to magically materialize if you're not putting yourself out there, making your interests and aspirations visible.
And sometimes it really boils down to simply asking for what you want.
Yes, the guide makes that point surprisingly clear.
It seems so obvious, but
But it highlights the often underestimated potential for a positive response. What holds so many people back from just asking, do you think?
fear of rejection, probably.
I think that's a huge part of it. Fear of rejection is a powerful deterrent. But it's important to remember that the worst case scenario is often just a no.
Right.
And you're no worse off than you were before you asked. The potential upside of getting a yes often far outweighs that fear.
They're publicly declaring your intentions, like the examples given, committing to a wedding suit or a master's competition.
Yeah.
That creates a powerful sense of accountability, doesn't it? And it also signals to others how they might be able to offer support.
Exactly. It's a way to harness both internal motivation, the commitment you've made publicly, and external support as people in your network become aware of your goals and might offer assistance or opportunities you hadn't even considered.
Okay, finally, let's look at the bigger picture here, the long-term vision and the sustainability of building this life you truly desire.
Right. This involves thinking beyond just immediate gratification and focusing on cultivating habits that support your long-term aspirations. The principle of living like your future self encourages you to adopt the behaviors and mindsets of the person you ultimately want to become, starting right now.
It's about embodying that aspirational identity even before you fully arrive. That's interesting. And the guide also wisely advises us to be flexible,
Very important.
both in navigating short-term challenges and in adapting our long-term goals as we evolve. Life rarely unfolds exactly as planned, does it?
Definitely not. Adaptability is such a crucial skill for navigating the inevitable unexpected twists and turns. Holding too rigidly to a preconceived plan can lead to unnecessary frustration and really hinder your progress.
I also appreciated the reminder to intentionally treat yourself on a regular basis,
Yes.
to help maintain motivation and actually enjoy the journey,
Right.
rather than just focusing on some distant endpoint.
Those periodic rewards provide essential boosts to your motivation. They serve as valuable reminders of why you're putting in the effort in the first place. It's about creating a sustainable rhythm.
And the idea of striving to stay one step ahead, to be an innovator, rather than always just playing catch-up, that feels particularly relevant in our rapidly evolving world.
It's about adopting a proactive stance, really,
Mhm.
actively seeking out new knowledge and skills, and being willing to experiment with new approaches rather than simply following established norms.
Looking for those win-win scenarios in your interactions and opportunities,
Yes.
and cultivating expertise to become a recognized authority in a specific area, these all point towards a more strategic and ultimately more sustainable path.
Exactly. Building mutually beneficial relationships and establishing yourself as a trusted resource creates a strong foundation for lasting success and influence.
And it's a timely reminder, too, not to neglect your physical well-being,
Oh, crucial.
as that has such a direct and profound impact on your overall energy levels and your capacity to pursue your goals effectively.
Your physical health is truly foundational. It underpins your mental clarity, your emotional resilience, and your overall ability to engage with the world and pursue your ambitions with vigor.
Plus, the consistent habits of reading widely, seeking out information in various formats,
hmm Lifelong learning.
and learning the valuable skill of not taking things too personally. Those contribute significantly to continuous personal growth and emotional resilience.
Absolutely. Lifelong learning and the ability to maintain a degree of emotional detachment from criticism are essential for navigating challenges, staying focused on your own path, and continuing to evolve.
The guide also emphasizes the importance of learning to sell effectively,
Yes.
but from a perspective of building trust and genuine connection, which I thought was key.
Right, not just manipulative tactic.
Exactly. And it concludes with a really crucial point. Be persistent. That feels like the underlying thread that ties all of this together, really.
Persistence is absolutely paramount. Setbacks, obstacles, they're inevitable parts of any significant journey. It's
Yeah.
that unwavering commitment to your goals, that ability to keep moving forward despite the challenges, that ultimately leads to the realization of your aspirations. As our third source highlighted, persistence cultivates resilience and an unyielding determination.
So, as we bring this deep dive to a close, it's really clear that building a life you love isn't about reaching some final destination, is it?
No, not at all.
It's an ongoing, dynamic journey of self-awareness and consistent action.
Precisely. It's a continuous cycle of learning, adapting, and evolving.
So, circling back to where we started,
Yeah.
take a moment right now, maybe after listening, and really ask yourself, do you truly know what you want?
Mm-hmm.
And maybe identify just one or two concrete steps from our conversation today that you can take starting today, as our first source wisely advises.
Yeah, don't wait. And here's a final thought to leave you with. Consider which of these principles resonated most powerfully with you right now at this particular moment in your life.
Okay.
And what small, manageable experiment could you conduct this week to take even just one step closer to that future self you envision?